What is going on, my dudes, dudettes? Yeah, I just fixed the camera right back up where it was, showing you the S&S Serpentarium. So today we're just gonna have a little chat about 1 year of keeping this black African house snake, and things that I've sort of found along the way. So just make sure you stay tuned in, listen to the very end, and obviously you see this absolute belter of a snake. So let's get straight to it. First thing you'll notice about these snakes is they are black, obviously, but they're not actually completely jet black. Their colour actually changes. They sometimes fire up and they fire down. So really he's quite close to jet black now, but most of the time he isn't. He's more of a brown. Sometimes he can even be like a dark grey kind of colour. That's really cool. That's something I really like about them. I obviously, when I bought these guys, I got a pair. The female I had issues with feeding. I had issues with it for a long time. It's one day I was messing about with her prey item. I left it in there and stuff like that, and she actually ended up escaping the tank. I haven't found her since. I'm assuming she's still in here, but I really don't know. And that's just the way it goes. So these are actually wild caught animals, and that's why I had issues getting the female feeding, and you know how I ended up actually eventually losing her. With them being wild caught, they do have quite a few problems. So if you want to get one of these, I'd recommend waiting to get a captive bred one. I know some people with pairs and stuff like that in the UK, but they've had problems breeding them. They're not quite as simple as breeding, you know, your classic Cape house snakes. So that's a bit of an issue. I'll be holding out to get this boy a captive bred female or two. And I'll just be, you know, doing it like that. I would not get another wild caught female after what happened last time with, you know, me going months and months without being able to get a feed. Most people haven't had too many problems, but I do know a lot that have as well. So, you know, it's a bit of a mixed bag with the wild caught stuff. So if you can, wait to get captive bred. The main thing that you'll notice with these guys, is they're just absolutely ridiculously good looking.
Ridiculously good looking?
So as far as care for these little dudes, the care is pretty much the same as a Cape house snake, or you know, a more common house snake. Humidity, they're pretty good with humidity, to be honest. You know, say about 40 to 60%. You could just keep them dry in the tank and offer a humid hide, something like that would do the trick for these. You know, they're pretty good. Heat, you don't want them to be too hot, okay? A hot side of about 86 Fahrenheit, which is about 30 degrees, something like that. Perhaps a little bit warmer. That would be sort of like the minimum. You know, and then perhaps up to about 88 or even 90 if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't go any warmer than 90 for these. You know, they just don't like it too warm. And then the cool end, you want it about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take. Maybe a little bit cooler, maybe a little bit warmer. Because these are wild caught, we don't really know. We haven't quite mastered how to keep them in captivity yet. But it's more or less going to be the same as the Cape house snakes, really. I keep these the same as the Cape house snakes. I haven't had any problems so far, other than the fact that they are wild caught. But if I'd known that, I probably would have skipped these guys, because I really don't like having problems. I'm a simple guy, alright? I like pretty snakes, and I want everything to be straightforward. But sometimes in this hobby, sadly, it's not always straightforward. But yeah, you know, that's it as far as care. You feed them once a week, and you're laughing if they'll eat. As far as size goes for these, you know, you're looking at about the same size as the Capes. Some some species and localities of house snakes are smaller than the capes. These are about the same. There's not a great deal in there. I would say though, in captivity, the reality is most of the blacks are going to be smaller than the capes, and that's just because the capes are more established in captivity, and as animals are in captivity for longer, they tend to get a bit bigger. So, but other than that, you know, they are about the same size. There's not going to be a great deal in it. And you can see how calm this guy is. So in the future, once they are being captive bred with regularity, these are going to make absolutely quality snakes for anyone. And they're really quite calm as well. You know, for a wild caught animal especially, these really calm. I much prefer these to a lot of the house snakes, to be honest. Especially, you know, like just the bog standard house snakes. There's a lot of different house snake species and localities and stuff like that out there, but these are up there with my favorite. These and the olives, I would say, are up there with my favorites, and they're both Phylognosis. I've had this guy, well, a year now. That's what the video is all about. And he's not the greatest feeder in the world. He is much better than the female, because she wouldn't eat at all for me, but he's not great. He has put on some weight and some size, but he's, you know, he's not smashing the food by any means. He's pretty good though. He's calmed down a lot and adjusted a lot to captivity since I've had him, and overall I'm really happy with these snakes. It's a shame what happened with my female, but it can't be helped. It was, you know, if I hadn't been fussing about so much, it probably wouldn't have happened with me losing her, but I think she probably wouldn't have made it in the end anyway. You know, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll find her up here one day and she'll decide that she's had enough of not eating and she'll eat. You know, who knows how things are going to pan out. But if I'm to get another one, which I probably will, I will be getting captive bred, and that's what I'd recommend to all you guys as well. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you've got any questions about these gorgeous little snakes, just let me know in the comments. And I'll do my best to get back to you. Or if there's anything I've left out, that'll be, you know, just let me know. And yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye guys.